Are we ready, set, go?
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Mary Alice here, Life Lessons with a Heart. And you have seen me enough. There's somebody I want you to see. Laura, say hi.
Hi.
Okay. She's an awesome, awesome friend. And none of this work would be videotaped or published or anything. It would sit in my filing cabinet this deep if it weren't for this lady.
Oh.
The technical brilliance that I cannot do without.
I don't know if it'd be technical brilliance, but it's definitely a work in progress, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be I'm happy to be a part of it. I really, really am. And I've loved working with you. So yeah.
Okay. Didn't expect that, folks. Okay.
That is the truth.
Give you a little, and I'm going to say, there was a day that Laura set up a Zoom. I didn't know what it was for. I mean, if there weren't light switches and outlets and plugs, look, I'm not the least bit technically savvy. So she set up this Zoom, and I remember the first question I asked her is, why are you so kind to me? Remember that? Many months ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So, for me, I never expected to be doing anything like this. Okay. The Lord at age 49, and you can tell him a few days past that, called me to be a nanny. I had never married, hadn't been around children in years, and I had been supernaturally unemployed for 11 months. So when they said do that, I was ready.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. People can definitely understand that. That's for sure. Yeah.
So that's where I found my gift. I didn't know I could communicate with children and mostly reach their hearts. He said to me, I want you to make deposits in the hearts of children from which they can withdraw the rest of their life.
Right.
And after he said that to me, somebody offered me a desk job earning more money than I'd ever comprehended. And I pictured this desk full of papers. I thought, no, children are a better investment. And so that's kind of how this grew. And in April of this year, the Lord pointed out to me some poems that he had given me. This nanny, at that time, the young lady, now I started with her when she was 2 weeks old, 2 months, something young.
Wow.
And she's now 11. And I would sit with the Lord in the morning, and he would bring out character traits, humility, meekness, truth. You are loved. And those kind, and I would just, and they all came out in poetry. So now fast forward many years, and he pointed out those poems to me. And I knew that I knew that I knew he wanted me to do videos, to speak them, to help implant those same thoughts in the hearts of others. And when I sat down to do that, one after, he took them in directions I could not have thought of.
Right.
And he really gave me a heart for teens. And while that remains, there's another group on my heart right now. And that occurred because I got a new commission. You know, I have to tell you folks, as a nanny, I never let the families take my picture. And now I'm doing videos. So you see, God's kind of in this. But I want to speak to that very point, because some of the people that I want to address now, they might say, I don't know if I hear from God. Was that me? Was that God? When it's God, you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if it's something simple, it's not, he's going to ask you to do something, but you know it's not your thought. So what he said to me, just, whoops, let me put a stop there. I want to go back just to say, in obedience, when I did those, I think there was something like 16 poems, well, he kept adding. And now if you go to Life Lessons for the Heart, YouTube, I think I last counted 27 videos.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many that are foundational. Basically, they share God's heart, not his word is his heart. His word is his, just like you and I talk, right. And you get to know me by the way I express myself, and sometimes just put up with me the way I express myself.
It's not
true. He wants me to put it in language that can be more receptive to people's hearts. So, and I do highly recommend those Life Lessons for the Heart videos. And now we started 3 weeks ago, something like that, podcasts. Yep. Because one day I was just sitting and having a cup of coffee and time with it. And see, he gives me like snippets of thoughts. Well, they're not really teachings. They're moments of his thoughts. Mm. And again, didn't anticipate this, but then he said, just make a podcast. Just a brief speaking that expresses his heart. So we're doing that now.
Yeah.
And Laura, aren't we anticipating something else? Like Instagram?
Oh, yes, I'm working on it. And we're looking to format the podcast to be on Instagram. So it would be kind of like really quick to be able to get in there, listen to something that's like a minute to 2 minutes, kind of like a devotional type of a thing, even something you can kind of chew on during the day. I think that's a great way to, that's to me, like the most valuable part of the podcast is that somebody could go in there and they just want to hear kind of like a quick word, and they just want to kind of think about that word and what it was that God was trying to convey on that day. And then the videos, of course, are ones, to me, I feel like would be really great for beginners, or it could be for a person, maybe they've kind of been maybe in a church that just wasn't kind of fulfilling them spiritually, and they want to like grow and they want to learn more and they want to be able to be more sensitive to God, to what it is that he wants to do in their lives. And I think that those videos are like really important, foundations to kind of look at and kind of build on. And then, of course, we've been talking about even doing a more like a deep dive type of a thing. So like that's something that I'm actually looking forward to as well, because it's that body, soul, spirit, and really learning to discern between those things, especially as a Christian. If you're new, or maybe you've been doing it for a long time, but you kind of feel stuck, it's like, that's something that's going to be very valuable. And to me, I think it's very timely because of what has been going on in the world, in the US, in the world. Things are changing, things are shifting. There's definitely something that's going on even in the spirit, and that people might have hearts that I want to follow God. I want to do what he wants me to do, and that, that purpose that he has for me. But at the same time too, I kind of don't know how to do that. I don't know where that comes from. And it's like, that's something that you've probably experienced more than any person I have ever met. I mean, I'm just going to be really honest. Like, I feel like you walk in that like all the time, that communion with God, like all the time, to where it's even made me think, am I actually walking in the communion with God like you had explained about it being a friend, like you're just two friends talking to each other and thinking about having the conversations that,
Let me just speak to that.
yeah.
Let me share my heart on that. So what happened, again, totally unsolicited, and I'm minding my own business, whatever that is. God said to me, teach my people to
Right.
commune with me. And immediately there's a scripture that's attached to that, and that will be covered in the teaching. But communion, it's all relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's interaction, not throwing your prayers up or just reading his word and then putting it aside.
Mm.
This is not about doctrine.
Yeah.
This is entirely about relationship. And I want to encourage you right now. He's equipped you for that. And that's what I want to cover that thoroughly, but I want to say right up front, I am not putting anybody down. And I'm ignorant as a dog's hind leg when I came to Christ. I had no idea what happened to me. But I didn't know it was hard to hear from him. So I just did. And now he wants me to teach you what he taught me and how he taught me. And I'm going to say right now, that is not this step and that step and this step. There was a period of time, I remember the day I was at a meeting and the well-known leader was talking about entering his presence and this and that. I got so frustrated because, this step and that step and then do this. And then, okay. I remember walking to the back of the room and just saying, God, I had no problem hearing from you until he tells me all these steps I'm supposed to go through. I don't want to present it that way. He's a real and living person. And that communion, here's my heart on this. I am so sorry if you were not taught. I am so sorry if you were undertaught. There's no condemnation. But I want you to realize that's his desire to be with you.
Right.
And so I see it, two hearts being satisfied in relationship. And if that's all the further we get today in explaining this, because there's so much more. I really want to take a stand against, well, I can't hear from God. Yes, you're designed to hear from God. Or just settling. Don't ever settle. And I have a dear, dear friend, sweet as she can be. But very, very recently, she just kind of threw up her hands and said, it just doesn't work. You know what? I think whether it's life lessons or the heart, it goes back to him calling me to be a nanny. He kind of gave me a mother and father heart. That's the way I want to lead you. Many of us didn't have mentors. And if we get no further today, I want to say when we start this, and it will be called in quite a long series of lessons that I will ask you to sign up for, because I want to send you PDFs. There's a lesson or two. I want to send you the whole typewritten lesson for your benefit. So, and in conjunction with that, I want you to have my email, lifelessonsfortheheart@gmail.com, so we can communicate. If you are frustrated, if you have questions, talk to me.
Right.
An old joke, probably before your time, Laura. Do you remember Bob Newhart?
Oh, no, I do remember him. Okay. Yeah.
I remember him saying, what's the sound of one hand clapping? So I can go like this, keep clapping to it. Talk to me.
Right.
Because I want to help you. I'm not doing this for me.
Right.
I am doing it for him because it's his desire to communicate with you.
Right. Right.
And we've got a lot more to talk about on this, but just the introduction of where we are going forward.
Yes. Yes. And I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to do that, because it really helps people to understand why this channel is even there and what is your heart, what's your vision for it. And so that, hopefully it's going to help kind of speak to people who might be struggling right now, who feel like, okay, I really could use this because I think this is going to really benefit me and help me to grow spiritually and help me grow in my relationship with God. So thank you very much.
Let me add one quick thing. In the next podcast, God gave me something else. Okay. And we're not even close to that. But I did see it from him as, now I'll just relate it to the podcast, because you see, you've got your phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's driving to work. There are moments that can be a devotion.
Right.
And you can chew on that.
Right.
Okay. So I think the podcast will be helpful for that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's meant to be practical. I'm not trying to be famous. I want to be practical.
I know. Yeah. But I believe that God's still going to use you and use like this platform and use the videos, use the teaching, because it really is his heart. I think there's a lot of things that are going on right now. I think there's a lot of people right now, maybe even feeling disenfranchised, feeling like they don't know where to go. They don't know where to go from here. And, just being able to tap in, like you said, use a podcast to just have devotion or, sign up for that teaching so that you're able to really, really have that deep dive and really, really know how to hear from God, how to have that relationship.
Themselves. That's what you were designed for. God did place a fivefold ministry in place. I honor it, honor it, honor it. But you weren't designed to just hear what your pastor heard from God.
Right.
Or the latest Facebook. He wants an intimate interaction with you.
Yes.
This will be about.
Awesome.
Let's have another conversation so we can give them a little further taste.
Okay. I'm going to end this one though. Okay. Hang on one sec.
Okay.